Boa noite, senhoras e senhores, sejam todos bem-vindos a mais esta aula.
Good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters. You're really welcome to begin. Let's greet your parents. I would like to invite Pastor Nyosimara to our prayer. Heavenly parents to parents, we are here gathering this night on behalf of your name with brothers and sisters from Latin America together with our Reverend King. We are grateful for this precious opportunity that we have today and this providence that we are joining. We would like to ask your presence inside of each one of us. Please nos inspire us in order to us to understand your will. We are grateful for your presence. We would like to report this prayer in my name and my family. I do. So today we are gonna have 3 testimonies. So let's begin. In order to the presenters prepare themselves, please. For all the speakers speak in a slowly way. The first presentation will be Señora Maria Rosario, the second from Argentina, Pastor Alfredo, and the third, Mrs. Marina Acosta from Brazil. After the presentations, the ones who would like to make any questions regarding the assurance, please, you can make your question. Let's receive Mrs. Maria Rosario. She is the representative of Women's Federation from Peru. Good evening, everyone from Peru. To each one of the various countries that are here. Can you hear me? Perfect. So, good evening, Reverend King, to each one that are here, to each leader with are gathered here, to each pastor, to all blessed families, brothers and sisters with are here. Good evening. I'm gonna present my sharing about the 100 days activities. We are blessed, called from the Oliva family. I'm really glad to have this opportunity to realize this report. So we received the blessing in February of 2003. We were previously blessed during 20 years. So we have 12 years of membership. So this is my family. This is my son, second generation Adriana, my daughter. And she is blessed, already blessed. They received a lesson in August of 2018. I doesn't have grandsons already, but we are working to do so. So this is my tribe, Balcona, where I came from, where's my root. We are a big family. I have 7 sisters and 1 brother. In total, we are 8. And on this picture, you can see all our family together. This is my mom. Even though she extended for the spiritual world, we know that she was with us So each time more our family is growing bigger. So about the HTM activities, we received this mission, all the families receive it in to substantialize the 430 horizontal families. When they told me, I thought they are crazy. How can we do it? 430 families. This is impossible. And our national leader told us if minimum 10 families need to achieve this goal. Especially they put a goal of 10 families per day. So we began our plannings as well in order to achieve this goal. Because we knew that the goal was unchangeable, was 430. We accomplished it in May of, sorry, we began in May of 2029, and we put a deadline in September of 2029 as well, and we began the project with lectures of Love School, and we prepared a guide as well of how to build a happy family, divine principle as well. We used a lot of books from your parents. So I'm psychologist, and I began to send letters of presentation of our work to some schools in order to them to receive us to make to give lectures to the parents that this is a kind of event that is eventually make three or two times a week, and we work keeping in touch with some schools in order to give them this kind of lectures. The big majority of persons with join this kind of lectures are women. Is extremely hard to meet couples, and we were always telling the directors, coordinators that we were looking for couples, and we always tell them to we're gonna give gifts to them, so please mobilize everyone to come for this gathering. So on this way, a lot of couples were coming to our gathering together, the spouse and the wife, and sometimes from 500 person, only 12 were couples. So we got a lot of focus on them, and the couples with joining us and explaining about the wine, and we continued the process of education. So in a lot of colleges, we got a lot of families too. And something that I was doing as well is that they would got 3 sections for free of psychology, because I am psychologist. So in this way we could contact a lot of couples. So I I hadn't a lot of time in to develop those activities, especially because I was working too. And I was thinking, how do I do? Because the process was really slowly and the deadline was coming. we were almost losing our deadline. So we thought we need to go for a place that a lot of persons are going and passing by. So we did for the centers to squares. For example, this is a city on the north of Peru where yearly festival happens and a lot of families are gathering in this why we couldn't achieve this goal because we met a lot of couples in that place. We joined a lot of festivals, especially the anniversary of this region where a lot of couples were there. We always were explaining when we approached the couple about what we were doing, the meaning of the wine, and we explained about our festivals, our events, and explaining the importance of this wine. We'll use it mostly almost 10 minutes to explain because it's a time of investment. It's really truly important. We learned a lot other kind of a strategy too, because the goal was to achieve the 430 families horizontals. It was the goal, but we organized it in other ways to achieve it. Something that we were doing was that we were just telling them we are delivering this guide of how to build the ideal family, and once they accepted this guide, we were making the presentation of 10 minutes about the meaning of what is a family, and we got the dates of those couples with were interested in receive this guide, and we asking them to make a prayer for their families, and they were grateful for this attitude that we are having towards them. So in that way we could advance through this way to approach people, delivering this kind of guidance of how to build an ideal family. So in that place, we could have a big advance in our goal. But something that was truly important for us in order to achieve this goal was the support team. Here in this picture, I have my sister and other members of our church. My son as well, we was always with us together, supporting us during this activity. And so thanks to them, we could achieve the 430 families horizontals in the first phase. And there is our certificate. And this one is the certificate that there there is certificating that we achieved the 430 generations liberation. We could make it through offering our Johnson always that we went to the road to give the blessing. We were always asking for the spiritual or the good ancestors to help us during this activity in order to inspire people and us as well, in order to achieve our goal of 130 horizontal families. So after this goal, we now are proceeding into the educational process. We are focusing on 3 couples. This couple is in the process of 40-day separation, and we met them in one of the colleges that we did blessings. I received a call from this person's Mrs. Guillermo, but they were in a really hard situation into a lot of boundaries, and he told me the last hope for our life, conjugal life, is you're content what you were doing, your mission. This is the last hope that we have. So we continued, we proceeded and advanced into the educational process with the divine principle lectures, and they are going into the 40 days preparation. They already did 24 days. So we are really grateful for all the family, my whole family and my husband's family as well, to all the spiritual world. And thank you so much for your parents, for sure. This is my testimony. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Let us give a really big round of applause. Let's receive the second testimony of today. Mrs. Ruben Alfredo from the Blessed Holy Department of Families from Argentina. Let's receive with a big round of applause. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruben Montero. My wife is from Brazil and I'm from Argentina. We received the blessing in 89. We are really ancient members, one of the first members of Argentina. We passed it into a lot of phases in our church. I was missionary before the blessing in 5 provinces of Argentina. My wife was missionary in Amazonas, Brazil. We received the blessing in 1982. We have 4 symbols. 3 are blessed. 2 of them with international matching. And since 7 months, we have our first granddaughter. I would like to have prepared more materials, PPT, but because of our short time, we couldn't prepare a lot of materials, but I will make a summary of our activities. First of all, I would like to apologize because I didn't have had time to prepare PPT, but the big majority of our victories due to the hard work of my wife. We already achieved the 430 horizontals, and we are focusing in 15 families that already fulfilled all the requirements to be a member. And now we are working with those couples. So my wife was the one with, together with 2 more sisters from Japan, could achieve this victory. Mostly because of her work, and I know he can share a lot of things with us. So good evening. I went to the north of Argentina. I departed from Buenos Aires with 2 sisters, one Japanese and the other wife of our national leader. We did a condition, first of all, of 40 days of downtown. a critical point for achieve this victory was the unity with the team. And in the beginning was a really hard time because we needed to go door by door. The people were really feeling kind of scared toward us, but we focused a lot in goals in goals for squares where a lot of persons and couples were passing by, and we approached especially the couples with their passing in the time that we were there, and always explaining the meaning of that activity, and we given them the wine, and we did a prayer to them as well. And people, and for them this ceremony was kind of uh, a new beginning of their life, as they were really grateful that we did this prayer and the wine. It was a really warm environment, that the climate especially is really hot, so it was a challenge for us, but each one of us achieved the 430 horizontal families in that occasion, in that city in the north of Argentina. And then we came back to Buenos Aires. And if since the time I entered in our church, since I became member, I always focusing on the tribal messiahs, because Father always was emphasizing the importance of this mission, this responsibility. I always did with my brothers and sisters and my family. We know that our efforts are the critical point to achieve this victory, because we receive it from true parents. And we cannot save this truth inside of us. We need to share, we need to give for other families, for the persons of the world. We cannot just keep into us. This is the only way to spread out this truth of true parents for the humankind. We know that it is not easy, but once we determine ourselves with love and with all your heart, it's possible. We can achieve this victory. We know that there's a lot of remaining things to be done, but we are focusing in this goal. We know where we want to go, and where we want to stay in the future. We are doing 100K, all these conditions of the traditional life of members of our church. And I had experiences with true parents and the ideas that we need to continue following and paving this path. So the 430 horizontals are is one part, and we are focusing in the other part, that is in the educational process. We have those families that already went to this path of the requirements for the days separation and the divine principle education. So this vertical responsibility is the most hard for us. And to be honest, during all this time, I didn't have kept a lot of attentions into the vertical part, especially in the ancestral part too. My wife was the one who during all this time were saving money, and she always went to Brazil to visit her family and to join the liberation seminars, and she was always preparing. She was already prepared, resolving and preparing for resolve these problems. We went through a lot of kind of challenges to conclude the elaboration of ancestors, and we got a borrow. We borrowed some money from other persons, and it's extremely hard to refill this money once we borrow them from someone, especially dollars. So something that I want to share is that we need to organize our goals and our steps, because otherwise can be really stressful to organize something into the last time, in the last moment. So please do something in organized way to be more easily to handle everything that can happen and to control the situation. So the last thing that we could achieve was the conclusion of the ancestors' liberation. So now we are investing into our faith, thanks to your parents, because we need to give back this money that we got borrowed. So this was all that I wanted to share. If you have any question, we are really grateful for your attention. Thank you so much. Thank you for your report. Now we're gonna proceed for the sharing of Mrs. Marinalva Costa from Alagoas. Let's give a round of applause to her. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. To Reverend King, President Koichi, Pastor Aderi, and others, to all brothers and sisters. So first of all, I would like to thanks for this opportunity. My name is Marinalva. I received the blessing with Luis Carlos and 2020 blessings. And the last year, we accomplished 1 year of blessing, and we are here to contribute even a little bit with my experience that I already have, that I consider really sacred experiences. I have almost a bit more than 1 month given the blessings with the wine to the persons, with a lot of motivations of our central figures, Mrs. Sueli and Pastor Ronaldo. Through them, especially through her, I got a lot of motivation to continue this path. She is always asking us to go with her. She's inviting us. So this is a really pure motivation to us to keep walking into this path of HTM activities and mission. So I would like to recognize her job as a central figure that is always motivating us to go out of our comfort zone. So this is something that is really helping us to keep going. Because when I am motivated, I know even though I'm tired, when I come back to home, I can feel a really strong and valuable environment with a lot of experience that we can have in these activities with God and your parents. During this 1.5 months of activities of HTM activities, we could have a lot of experiences. So we are given the blessings. We are going out 3 or 2 times a week, and we pass 3 to 4 hours developing these activities, always with the guide in partnership with our Pastor Swilly. She's given us a lot of strength to through be with us, as following us too.
Recording in progress.
As nossas saídas, aqui mesmo em Maceió, eu tive a oportunidade de ir uma única vez com elas no interior.
I went to the countryside with a group of sisters, and I got a lot of inspiration from this opportunity. It was a really positive situation. I learned a lot. So during the other weeks, we went to the road cities in Maceió. Even though with the COVID pandemic, we know that it is normal that people are worried, afraid to receive people to talk with us. We know it's a challenge. A lot of persons have this idea that they cannot receive anyone because we can give them the virus, something like that, they think. But in the big majority, almost part of the times, people are receiving us in a really positive way. So I'm considering, even though we are doing these activities in really hard circumstances, people are receiving us in a really positive way. This is what I consider. And we separate the area, one side of the road one sister, and the other side of the road other sisters. And when we are with other sisters, brothers and sisters, we can feel more support because we are doing together. I don't have a lot of pictures to share because a lot of times we just forget to take pictures because we are giving the wine, you're making prayer, so it's really easier to forget to take pictures. So one of the experiences that I had through giving the wine was in the first time that I went with a sister of our church, and we approached a home where one person told us, I had a really serious prayer with God, and I asked him, please send me a signal, bring me something that can show me what I need to accept. And this person was asking for God for a revelation of what should he do. So when we receive it, this person she got really emotionally, and she curved and she told us, you are from God. God sent you here. And she was really grateful. In this picture, you can see that she's totally prostrate to receive this prayer. Another experience that I had too was in the time that we were concluding the activity, that we met two policemen. They were keeping attention into our words from the divine principle. We were explaining about the wine, about the ceremony, and they were always staring to each other, and asking themselves, can you hear what she's saying? And they were exchanging signals of positive signals that of interest in our words, and we offer them the prayer, the wine, and the opportunities to them to watch some lectures, and we kept in touch, and we were sending the videos of the divine principle lectures. It's something really positive to us, because we were thinking that because we were on the street, they could feel that wasn't a good idea to was doing that, especially because of COVID-19 pandemic. So, but thanks for God, we were really well received, and they got really thankful and got really emotional because of our blessing. And we concluded this experience in a really positive perspective of those activities. Another experience was that I approached the door of a widow person, and she was not in a really good humor. And that day wasn't to receive this blessing in that moment, but I felt the presence of spiritual world, and that energy was growing strong, and the tears of my face were coming down, and she kept staring in a really serious way. And I asked her, can't you feel the presence of your husband even in spiritual, can you hear? And she told me, okay, let me drink this wine. After I told her this word, so this situation was something really emotional and really strong with America in my life too. And thanks to God, she accepted the wine, and she she turned really glad, and me too, because I felt that the spiritual world was being grateful towards me. So I have other experiences with other sisters too that just marked and touched my heart, and I will never forget them. So I would like to say that it's been a really rich and experiences that we are going out to give the wine, because finally I understand it doesn't matter if we have condition to do ancestors liberation in a vertical way, but important is that we have this opportunity in this moment to trust in the spiritual world. So in that way, I understand and I believe that they will open a door and a blessing to arrange all our whole situation. Because if we don't open our minds right now and keep asking if it will be successful even with the COVID pandemic, if we focus on negative thoughts and we keep aligning with them, for sure it will not be possible. But if we'll go in the other road of the positiveness, we were gonna get. And I feel that this is the exact moment to give the blessing. This is the right moment, even though there's a person that doesn't agree with me, but this is the way that I believe, because we had a lot of support of our leaders, central figures, especially us here, we have a lot of support and motivation from our central figures in here in Alagoas, and we have this HTM school too. So the remaining thing is to understand that in this moment is the exact moment that it will define our future to achieve and to go towards this path. So I would like to be really grateful and to say that I'm beginning my mission. And I would like to repeat that it's been a really great experience for me. So if someone would like to ask me what is my motivation to begin this, I would like to say my motivation is this point that I already told you, that the spiritual world will do their responsibility. Doesn't matter the COVID, the pandemic, or even because the persons are scared, the spiritual world is keeping attention with us. They are really sensible towards our lives, and they are giving us the opportunities to make this happen. We are not alone. I would like to repeat again, we are not alone. I am not afraid. I'm not scared to go out and to give the blessing. People can really feel strange, and you can feel as, oh, she has a lot of courage. And yes, I'm not afraid. I go to the road in a really calm way. I'm not worried in any moment if someone will beat up the door into my face. I'm I'm not worried with this. The important is that I'm putting my foot in of out of my home. This is something that is sometimes challengeful for me, to broke the boundaries of the comfort, to go out, to broke this boundary. Sometimes this is my challenge. So, but and I formed this boundary because of the pandemic, of the dangerous, and I keep just thinking like that. But we cannot be persons that are so easily open and flexible to these challenges. We need to be positive. So please put the spiritual world in the first place, in front of everything. I'm really grateful with all my heart for this opportunity. I wish that your parents can bless everyone that are here. Thank you so much for everyone for those cheerings. So in this moment, we are gonna have a Q&A section. If someone would like to make any question, you can raise your hand, or you can put in a chat. We are gonna allow your microphone. Mr. Eduardo Corrales is gonna make a question. Hello, can you hear me? As we do, is for our brothers and sisters from Argentina. Felicitations for your, congratulations for your job. I would like to ask something about the 40 days of separation. Is that hard? How people respond to this part of the process? How people are acting towards this part of the process? So to be honest, what can I say about the 40-day separation is that the people with we were working are really prepared. They didn't react in a hard way. They accepted in a really calm and really positive way. It is dependable with the kind of person that you met. So in our case, we met persons with accepted in a really lovely way about the 40-day separation. And we explained to them this is a condition that you need to go through it in order to achieve the blessing. And we always were as telling them that God wants each one of us to be Adam and Eve, pure, and He wants to connect with us. And we always tell them too that this is a symbolic condition. This is only about symbolisms. When we use the symbolisms, they can accept. This is what I feel. It worked with us. Thank you. So thank you so much for your reply. Someone else would like to make any question regarding the three testimonies that just were made? Mrs. Nivea. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Congratulations for the testimonies and the missions of the brothers and sisters. I would like to make a question for the family that are working under the 43 families about how many time he's dedicating for the education of this 43 families. How are you doing? Because we had a lot of other things to do. So sometimes I feel that we need to give more attention only for the education of these families, because it's really hard sometimes to balance everything that we need to do.
Yo da mi parte parece que un poco mérito do meu
I think that we inherited some merits of our ancestors, because when I entered in our church, my whole family entered together and they received the blessing too. So I think there is more easier to work here in Argentina. So I've been working step by step, something that I feel there is really hard to be done, especially because of the coronavirus virus. So I always feel the merit and the presence of our ancestors, because we already got 18 spiritual children, and I have a spiritual daughter in Amazonas that she already has her spiritual daughters and sons. So what I would like to say, we know that it's hard to educate them, to dedicate time, but about time, we do it in our free times, in the time that we're met, we dedicate for education. So we are always communicating with them, with our neighbors, with the sons and daughters, spiritual sons and daughters that we already have. And we have a small stall, and because my wife is really lovely, people are attracted and came to talk about life, and they feel that they can speak, and my wife listen them, and sometimes they even came here to buy something. They came only to speak and to have a talk with her. And people were approaching bit by bit in that way, and bit by bit too, receiving the spirit, given the spirit words. So I really think and I really feel that the spiritual world is really doing their part, but to keep this foundation is the challenge. Anyone else would like to make any question for the speakers?
Aunque no haya pregunta, ¿se puede repetir algo de que dije antes? Perdón.
Senhora Desimar, pode fazer sua pergunta, por favor?
Mrs. Desimar, can you make your question?
Ai, deixa eu ver aqui a minha pergunta. Eu gostaria de fazer uma pergunta.
I would like to make a question to Mrs. Ruben Montero.
Quando vocês estão dando a pré-bênção,
When you were given the pre-blossom, are you saying for person to already begin the 40-day separation? Because here in Brazil, especially me, particularly in my case, we know that orientation has been different. That first of all, we selected the 43 families in order to them to receive the blessings. So I would like to confirm if they are, if you, Mrs. Ruben, Mr. Ruben, are doing in that way.
Nosotros no hablamos de la separación. Cuando tenemos más confianza.
So we just tell them about the 40-day separation when they accomplish the first steps, because before was the wine and then automatically the 40-day separation, but right now it's the opposite. For now they need to pass for some steps, and after we care and give us a bit more of education, we present them the next step, that is the 40-day separation, and then we speak and then we tell them the meaning, and if they accept, okay, we can proceed, and then we advance. So we are doing in that way in accord with the direction. Is that the reply that you were waiting for?
Seu Rubem, tá bem sua resposta. Muito obrigada.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers. A really big hug for you.
No sé con qué Guillermo.
Debe ser la mitad del corazón. Ah,
Estamos en una reunión.
Anyone else would like to make any question?
Senhor Eduardo, pode fazer sua pergunta, por favor?
Mr. Eduardo?
Sí, para la señora María del Rosario.
To Mrs. Rosario from Peru. She's going to the colleges to make lectures, to give lectures to the families. We already tried it here, but it's really hard because they are developing a lot of gender ideology in schools, human laws too. They are developing a lot of ideologies of leftist sides too, Marxism too. Even to our children, they trying to convince about ideologies. So how are you doing there in Peru? So thank you for your question. And then first of all, the first is that thanks to God, this developing of this kind of ideologies is not so strong as you commented. We still have a lot of support and a lot of organizations that are going into the other ways, not supporting this kind of ideology. So we kind of inherited a foundation of the family movement that was done before. So it was done into these colleges that I went again to give these lectures. So they already knew us. And then I already worked with this colleges because I did a lot of different works and activities with them about my mastery too. And we could establish different partnerships with them, especially right now that we need couples and always looking for more contacts in order to make partnerships present in our job. Because in somehow I needed to combine the directors of those institutions, because through their acceptance, we could achieve other couples and the parents of students. For sure, it was really hard, but thanks to all the support of the spiritual world, we could achieve and contact a various series of schools. So this is all. Thank you so much.
Senhora Sandra e Márcio, pode fazer sua pergunta?
Mrs. Sandra and Mr. Marcio, can you make your question? Good evening. I would first of all to congratulate everyone for their testimonies and ask them if someone of them arrived in the level that the spiritual children are given taxes and dozens contributions in terms of financial money to the church.
Bueno, quizás puedo responder respecto a mí o a mi familia. Nosotros todavía ahora hemos empezado con una pareja.
So now we are working with one family that are doing the 40-day separation, but before the separation process, we explained them the importance of the contributions, and they were catechists, and we told them that it was the same as in their ancient church, that they were always offering these contributions, because we always need to give back something to God that we received. Then, but then we could work in a more deeply way about a contribution, especially the contribution in the offering that we need to do for the blessing. and always emphasizing that they can give in parts, like a parcels, but they need to conclude this contribution. This is the experiences regarding about this point of the contributions, of money contributions.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches. Quería hacer una consulta.
So I would like to confirm something.
Con relación a lo que mencionó una de las hermanas, que no me recuerdo el nombre, que hizo una pregunta a Rubén Montero sobre la bendición.
I would like to make confirmation about the Hyojong blessing.
Es para aclarar, porque yo también estoy.
I would like to make clear something.
Los 43 deben ir por el camino, en caso de que no recibieron la bendición.
So in the case that the one of the 43 families, they are supposed to go into the day to receive the Hyojong blessing.
Es una pregunta que tengo porque me parece que no quedó muy claro y todos
Sorry.
tener el mismo discurso, ¿no?
Boa noite. Então, esse
So,
tema dos 43, nós podemos aprofundar ele um pouco mais.
so I think that we need to make clear something about the 43 vertical families. So we know that the purpose of this vertical accomplishment of 43 families is to guide them in order to them to receive the blessing. So this is the goal. But we always have a kind of flexible atmosphere to speak about each couples. If there's any special case to establish their roles of the requirements to the families that are being educated to receive the Hyojong blessing. So right now we're gonna advance in our program, and today we are gonna receive the word of Pastor Odair Lima de Almeida, Vice National Leader of Brazil. Let's receive him with a big round of applause. Good evening, brothers and sisters, to our leaders, national leaders of South America, Heavenly South America, the pastors, missionaries, and blessed families that are gathered here joining this HTM School. So first of all, I would like to read a biblical versicle that in one vision of Apostle John, when he said that I see the new sky, I see this sacred city that God was going from the heavens. So this is the tabernacle of God, because with them you will inhabit it, and it will be your body, and me, the same God, will be with them, and I will be their God. Brothers and sisters, this versicle of the Bible is in really connection with the words of her mother when she gave our direction to Chambo families. So to understand, since a long time we are waiting for this unique day. Our Havoline parents wanted to realize his dreams together with their children on earth. So because your parents desired so much to have this unique day with as a family together with the couples and children, us as we as Chambo family where two parents wanna breathe this pure air together with these families. And her mother kept telling me, although the fall fulfilled the heart of her parents with a lot of hurt, how hard it was being to him, how much he supported, how much he has waited for this moment. The families today that are registered as Chombo are the owners of Tonelguk, registered as the pures and clears Chombo, heavily treasures. So the mother is anxious with high expectations to the next group that of blessed families that are gonna receive are gonna register themselves in Chambo. And she's really anxious to see this group of blessed families that are gonna become the owners of Tonelguk. She kept telling us that this is the dream of true parents that they are dreaming to see. I kept thinking that we are here in Sao Paulo. This is a time of the pandemic that everything is really restricted, but even in normal times with no COVID-19, with environment the true parents were going to found here for sure would be environment of drugs, immoral sexuality, a lot of murders and corruption. And true parents would find a place to breathe a pure air, and the only place would be the blessed families. But if true parents goes into a blessed Chambo family, they will feel better. So we all need to prepare this environment and become these heavenly treasures. And her mother kept telling me, while we are in the earth, we need to effort ourselves. If for sure, with these efforts, we need to offer to your parents that had waited a lot of time to one family that attend them with devotion. This is the most sincere desire of God and your parents. In order to receive this day, all the families that registers as Chombo have the same responsibilities of the citizens of the Chonilguk. How much we spread our spiritual energy of Chombo families to our neighbors, tribes, nation, world. Meanwhile, we are here in Earth. This is what will determine if we are gonna fulfill our responsibilities as families that proudly are registered on behalf of the name Chombo, and through that we're gonna achieve the freedom of eternity when we go to the spiritual world. I hope that all of you becomes big owners and potential families that receive the respect and love for the eternity, generation after generation, throughout the course of the human history. So we are here in this school that that are developing these classes during the last 5 months, and already passed almost 6 months that of the launching of the HTM School. So, precious brothers and sisters, we need to keep attention of all the words of true parents that are the direction of true heavenly parents. And this word arrives at us through our national leaders, continental leaders. We need to be anxious and keeping attention on those words, especially to the next registration that will be in October 10 of 2021. We need to keep attention in the dates of the ancestral liberation workshops. We had the last one in the May 23, and the next one will be in July 11 of this year, 2021. So please don't lose this opportunity, please, okay? Because the goal of our central figure, Reverend David Domokin, is that all the families register themselves and become Chamber families until 2022. So when we had a direction, I always kept thinking that how much God have expectations and how much heavenly lucky we have together with this direction. So when we are keeping attention and open to receive this direction, to all the directions of heavenly parents, through parents, through our central figures, we need to save this direction into our hearts. And in this way, you can inherit it all the lucky, heavenly lucky, and pave it into your way, this energy. So right now, this direction to all the blessed families to achieve the award of Bichombo family and to go to all the ancestral liberations workshops. This is a direction through achieve each one of them. We can accomplish the will of God and your parents. So we received some testimonies of the 100 days activities of a lot of persons, and then we are realizing that the spiritual world and your parents are working a lot in a really strong way. Even though we are in pandemic times, into those circumstances, we are seeing that our precious brothers and sisters are gaining victory. Why? Because they are keeping attention to the directions of true parents, and they are really going to the action. So the activities to become Chambo family are the liberation and blessing of our ancestors until 400 generations. The next will be July 11, and the next Chambo registration will be October 10th of 2021. So this HTM school is in a really desperate way, because we see our brothers and sisters looking for information of how do they need to do in order to accomplish their registration. But a lot of times the information are not arriving, or it's too late when they arrive as to some persons. So if I don't share the information, it means that I don't want to register to be Chambo family. Is that right? But our ancestors are keeping an eyes open in us. We are here because of our ancestors, because of their merit, because of their foundation. So please don't let this next register to pass off. There's a lot of brothers and sisters selling their homes, borrowing money, and the bank selling cars. They are doing their all best because they want to become a Chambo family, but because they want to follow the direction of true parents, not only because they want to receive an award to be Chambo family, but because they want to assert, they want to follow the will of true parents. So precious brothers and sisters, we don't know if we are gonna have 15 years of life or 10 years of life. We don't know even if we have 2 or 1 year of life. I don't know how much time I have, but I know something. I cannot go to the spiritual world if I don't become a Chambo family. Absolutely. I need to become a Chambo family. So please, let's keep attention and what is happening in front of us into our environment, high, high in front of our eyes. God and your parents and heavenly parents are gonna work with us here on earth. Joseph had a vision in Jerusalem that God was coming to the earth and his home would be cohabitating with a man. So this is biblical. So our mission is not done right now. It's not finished. It's not concluded. We were called. We were invited by the heavens and chosen by fingers to our ancestors. Now our ancestors bring us to the divine principle to meet with heavenly parents and true parents to receive the blessing. Our ancestors are waiting for more, not only for just the blessing, but they wanted to be blessed and liberated by us. They want to receive us in the spiritual world with honor of Chambo families. Absolutely. Our ancestors are with this kind of expectation toward us. So in this moment, we are living in this time of blessings and liberations, and to give the blessing to persons on the streets. But at the same time, we need witnessing, we need to restore 43 spiritual children. That this was the directions of true parents, and the direction was to make a list of those families and to establish oikos with neighbors of parents, with persons that are in our daily lives. And we have a step of a step. We need to do 2, 3, 4 things at the same time. Ancestral liberations, witnessing, at the same time educating our spiritual children. So we have a step step by step. The first time is to create a foundation of Johnson to mobilize the spiritual world in our activities in order to have a support of the spiritual world. Our support coming from our ancestors into our activities. So through create this kind of oikos and connections and deep relationships with other persons, we can achieve a lot of victories. Because what is oikos is the deepness of the connection. Because this relationship may achieve a lot of things. We need to separate our guests from Satan. And through this connection, we need to apply the education of divine principle. It can be lecture or one-to-one, physical lectures, but we need to apply, because one member only can reborn spiritually if he understands the divine principle. I never saw a person with become a member without understand the divine principle. So this part of education need to be continued through visits, home group or individual visits, and in this way, all the families need to achieve this victory to be Chamber families. We we received a question that asked if someone were educated and the guest only to give taxes or contributions. But when we become Chamber families, when we go deeply into our understanding by educate our guests and through restore our community, we understand that we need to become the incarnation of the words of divine principle and live the divine principle and practice. Not only understand, we need to be the substantialization of the words of divine principle, become the life of divine principle. This is the best kind of witnessing, be the example of blessed families. This is the most precious example for our spiritual children. But it is not a problem to restore our guests and the spiritual words, but the most important thing is to inherit the divine principle as a substantialization. When we are investing our Johnson, when we invest everything in the educational process, our guests need this Johnson. 40% of our investment is the prayer, is the mobilization of a spiritual world. The prayer can break boundaries. The other 30% of this investment is the education of divine principle, the practice of the spiritual parents of understanding of this divine principle and the teaching of these words. And 30% is the practice of love. Love absolutely, unconditionally, each one of our guests. This is 30% of our process. So during this period, I am investing into my list of 43 families. I'm doing prayer, daily condition, and from this 43, I'm giving education for 12 families. 12 guests are receiving the blessing of divine principle. This guest she lives in Guarulhos. She lives 1 minute of distance of our church in Guarulhos. It's really near. And then we are investing prayer, love, and the practice. We have other guest. She is gonna learn the resurrection. She lives 12 kilometers of distance of one church. She's leader of one catechist community. She prepared the church to us to receive the blessing, and right now she's receiving this education. She's in Bahia State. We work with her through Zoom. We are passing some lectures. We create a link and send to her, and then this way we are giving her the education. We have other guests that she lives 1 hour of distance of our national HQ. She lives in Suzano City. She already finished all the divine principle, and now she's given contributions to offerings, and she's preparing the foundation and the region that she lives in order to us to give the divine principle there. She's a nurse of 35 years old, and I see on her potential to be home group leader. You have another guest that is a nurse of 22 years old. She lives in the same city of the other guest. She is watching, receiving the start parallel. We have other guests. She is psychology just, and she already finished all the divine principles. She lives 45 minutes of distance of the national HQ. She already concluded the study of divine principles. She wanna go for blessing. The other guest already finished the divine principles. She cried a lot during the revelation time, and she fulfilled the form of membership. She received the certificate. She bought the picture of her parents. We have almost 10 days that she finished all the lectures. We have other guests that I worked with him in 2019. He hadn't understood in that time, but he came back and he is joining our Sunday service, giving offerings to, and during 3 days of a week per month, sorry, during 3 months, he is doing service of reform in our church because this is his job. He worked with the reforms. We have other guests that he works with NGOs. She's a leader of an NGO, and they do distributions of basic baskets of food supplies, and she's really glad and really motivated to continue with this mission. When we once we heard the direction of true parents and of central figures and absolutely go to practice and invest them, we can inherit the intention of God. During this period of 10 days, 100 days of activities, I went to a community of Jaguaré. I met a leader of the zone, and I developed a friendship with him. I bring them 10 basic baskets of food supplies. He watched one video about the Women's Federation, and now we are continuing in his educational process. He is leader of 12,000 inhabitants. So once again, I would like to say, when we receive a direction of our central figures, there's a lot of heavenly lucky too. In Diadema, other city, my wife met a teacher and she began the studies of divine principle, and she by herself, she called my wife to continue the education of divine principle. And we have other guests that is a leader of an EGO, and she's receiving the divine principle right now too. And then during this period, we finished this education with 12 persons. We concluded this educational process. So from the beginning until the end, we applied each conference, each lecture of divine principle. So when our national leader, President Koichi, told us to receive the merits of this era, and he told us, you have millions and millions of ancestors with you. We believe it. So all Wednesdays, all Fridays, we are having a lot of sharings, and we are seeing that we are realizing the power of true parents, the power of true father that is in the spiritual world. We're seeing the power of our ancestors, but the only one that can gain is the one who do. The one that are not moving cannot achieve the victory. How can I how can I get something if I'm not sealing these seeds? We need to harvest. We know that we want to get a lot of fruit, but we need to raise for, we need to seal first of all. I know that you I know that you have a lot of beautiful persons on your environment, but you need to spread out this message that it's time to gather fruits. In the era of Jesus, we received a in the time of a era of Jesus, we already received a message that the harvest is big, it's really fruitful, but we doesn't have a lot of we don't have a lot of workers to receive those fruits. But we cannot be the kind of global persons that are waiting for the results to come as a rain. We cannot wait the miracle. The miracle cannot occur without make our responsibility. In order to the miracle to happen, we need to fulfill our responsibility. It doesn't have only for the power of earth. It's not enough only to believe. We need to do. We need to go to practice. So we know that the human responsibility are 5% and the responsibility of a heavenly parents are 95% to accomplish the 100%, and our 5% is to accomplish the faith foundation plus the substantial foundation. In that way, God can do his work, his responsibility too. When we accomplish our chonsom, our hondoke press in our foundation of faith, we can achieve the miracles because this is the substantial foundation is the consequence of the faith foundation. Spiritual work can work once we accomplish our responsibility. Once we execute our human responsibility through invest in the gemstone, through unity with central figures, when you focusing in the self-denial, we can do the separation of Satan. We had a testimony right now about the conflicts to go and give the blessing. This kind of boundaries is coming from Satan. We need to break those boundaries through offer indemnity conditions, because through make this whole process the miracles can happen. So once we think that the miracles are not the purpose of our formula course, the purpose is the growth step by step. So we had received this direction in our daily lives coming from our national leader, President Koichi, had passed us every day this direction. So we need to hit the will of God. We have a sister that just told us that she is not afraid to go out and give the blessing.
e de
So we need to overcome. So our responsibility is right now, today. We need to work side by side with the spiritual world. We need to create the unity with our family and work together with the spiritual world. We need to really understand what is the work of the spiritual world. We need to live this unity with the spiritual world. We need to challenge us, not only think in individual work, we need to go out and accomplish our responsibility with absolute love and absolute faith. The ones who truly got the directions of God and of our continental leader and national leader in are working really deeply, are living these miracles. And this kind of miracles cannot happen only in one family. It need to happen into all families. Everyone need to live and into this kind of miracles. There's it does it doesn't exist a lot of miracles. If you go to practice, you can achieve these miracles. First of all, you need to liberate and give the blessing for our ancestors, not forgetting about the next workshop that will be in July 11th. And put all mine, and don't forget that the next registration will be in October 10th. I would like to say that is your destiny to be Chamba family. So if you believe and you execute your responsibility, the spiritual world is gonna do their responsibility. Just give your best. Why? Because we need to become the treasures of the heavens, where true parents and heavenly parents are desiring to visit and to live together with us, even though being in the earth. Because everything there is enlightened on earth can be enlightened in heavens. Together with heavenly parents, your parents, our ancestors, I am praying for your prayer, and your victory is my victory. Your happiness is my happiness. For sure, I would like to see everyone here victorious. I do. Thank you so much. The heavenly parents and your parents bless all your life. Let's pray. Join me prayer. Lovely heavenly parents, your parents of all humankind. Heavenly parents, we are feeling your love, your power. You are feeling your touch of your spirit. We are feeling your presence, your glory, your victories. We want to be thanks because you bring us to execute our responsibility during this time, because we can help you into this big constitution, because we are into this providence. We want to be grateful because during our lives you presented us through parents and heavenly parents on where we are going and paving this path, because we know where we want to arrive. We know from where we came, and we know that we achieve it to this level of this era, but we truly want to receive your blessings. We can really feel the heavens. we are feeling the environment or your home. And we are grateful because we are destined to live with you. We are praying for all your sons and daughters, all the blessed families that are yearning for the desire to become Chambo families, Heavenly parents. And this night we would like to pray for the brothers and sisters that are burning the will in their hearts to gain spiritual children. And this night we would like to offer this meeting, offer this moment. We know that into a lot of times that we don't do the right things. We would like to repent that we for a lot of times we couldn't have given our best, but we do want to give our best. We want to give more witnessing, and we want to unify 100% with the heart of true mother. For we would like to pray for her healthy, for long life of her on earth. We would like to offer a lot of sons and daughters for you, Father. Please bless all the activities of those brothers and sisters that are gathered here. So we'd like to offer and relate this meeting on behalf of my name, Odair de Lima Almeida, centralized in a blessed family. Adieu.
Vamos fazer essa veneração para finalizar a nossa aula de hoje. Chonjin Champone, que é o BR. Barou. Obrigado a todos, tenham uma boa noite, nos encontramos na próxima semana. Podem abrir os microfones.
Obrigada, pastor.
Boa noite.
Tchau, tchau.
Boa noite.
Tchau, tchau.
Saludos a todos.
Pastora Andaí.
Salve, Matias, vem.
Bom.
Essa tia minha, ó.
Todo país. Boa noite.
Juliana, ó.
Vai ser